proclamation will be delivered by Mayor Turner, a proclamation for the Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Award Lifetime Achievement.
Okay, if I can have the Gracie Science. Look, I really don't have to read this, but she's certainly deserving of everything that's here and things that are not even included that need to be on here. Graciela Gracie Science is the recipient of the 2018 Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Lifetime Achievement Award. In fact, let me ask the members, Roland and Lenora and the rest of you, Helen. Yeah, come on.
Sophia, Marianne.
Sophia, yeah, come on.
My husband.
Sophia.
Where's your husband?
There's Al right there.
Al. Hey, man.
You don't want to be alone, right?
Plus, you owe me a dinner.
He's already got a date.
All right, okay. And again, Gracie Science is the recipient of the 2018 Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Lifetime Achievement Award. She is a woman of many talents ahead of her time, a leader with a formidable heart, and has dedicated her lifetime preserving and making contributions for the betterment of the Latino community, and if I might add, and the community as a whole. Gracie Science was formerly with the law partner Elizabeth Burkhart and the founding member of the Science and Burkhart PLLC law firm. She has been in law practice for over 32 years. Her practice currently focuses on government relations, business, commercial, and international transactions. Okay. She is very involved in leadership positions throughout the community after serving on the Houston City Council from 1992 to 1997. Her experience as a former council member and mayor pro tem has assisted in leveraging her knowledge of local city politics and essential political networks to best serve her clients' goals. Gracie Science's experience as chair of the Houston International Initiatives and the chair of the NAFTA Committee of the Houston City Council have served her in continuing her close ties to businesses throughout Latin America. Her experience also includes representing a broad range of government and corporate clients in corporate, international, energy, and tourism. Organizations get established and assist in developing their missions, strategies, organizational structures, and governing documents. Throughout her career, such as the Hispanic Woman of the Year Award, the Hispanic Women in Leadership Hall of Fame, Professional Women in Women's Chamber of Commerce, Woman on the Move, amongst many. Of Houston commends Graciela Gracie Science for her dedicated time and resources that has impacted and inspired so many, and her outstanding leadership in the Hispanic community. And again, I know it's the Hispanic community, that it's been the community as a whole that you have benefited greatly. And quite frankly, this is an award that can be just given by anybody, any organization in this city. And I don't want to minimize you and your contribution at all. And we wish her continuous success in all her. Sylvester Turner, Mayor of City. Graciela Gracie Science. Lifetime Achievement Award for the City of Houston and for as Graciela Gracie Science Day in Houston, Texas. Congratulations and well deserved.
Well, I could. Thank you. Mayor, just like you read it, I'm going to read mine now. It's difficult sometimes. to think through everything that I would want to say, and that's why I wrote my comments out. And so, dear Honorable Mayor, distinguished City Council members, my dear friend, Anna Russell, Secretary, city employees, my dear family and friends, it truly is most joyful and very humbling today. I first wish to thank those individuals that singled me out for such a wonderful recognition. Ms. Sofia Drogué, Ms. Helen Cavazos, Lenora Pullman, and of course the one and only Lolita Guerrero. All of these women are not only my friends, but have achieved incredible accomplishments in our community as well. So it's very, very, very humbling to have been chosen by them. Thanks to the Mayor's Hispanic Advisory Committee. Roland, thank you for your leadership. For their leadership and, of course, their service to help guide the importance and inclusion of our Hispanic community in Houston, and to also help bring attention and appreciation to those in our community that serve us all. In that regard, I wish to also congratulate the other recipients that I'm sure you've already honored, and that was Mario Enrique Gonzo Figueroa for the arts in the community, Estela Mireles Walters as a community activist, Ms. Rebecca Trevino, education in the community, Homero Benavides as a youth activist. They not only serve their community well, but they serve it with heart. As you can see, there has not been done alone. Ways, so please indulge my mentors, friends, and family, who in many ways gave me words of wisdom, their insights of understanding, their time of listening, yeah, sometimes just listening, their shoulders to cry on, but most of all, their love and friendship to sustain my hopes and my dreams. Something to my family of 9 parents, my father, Juan and Guadalupe. Les agradezco todo su amor y su apoyo. My mother passed away 2 years ago. But she taught me some very good. One, no tengas miedo. Do not be afraid. And 2, hazte fuerte. Be strong. My father always taught us he'd get us up at 6 in the morning every day. You lie, cheat, or steal from others, and you have a name to be proud of. Never disparage. I want to hug them all and thank them all. To my children, today I have Lucia, and I've got to let you know that Lucia is running for her student council at her elementary. So I'm already starting them young in this family. And so she's delighted to be here and get a chance to see City Council in action with me and the love you demonstrate in your own unique ways. You have walked with me through much of my journey. Couldn't have done it without you. The journey was a short one. My private one in many ways continues with service to others and as a partner to many for many causes that still are left to be addressed. But my main reason for this continued and partnership in my life now cannot be denied by all those who know us. I want to thank him for keeping me humble. He always says, I know where you came from. And helping me with the work that continues in our home and in our community. And now to the reason I'm standing here above all, to you, Mayor. Thank you. It's not called the Mayor's Hispanic Heritage Lifetime Achievement Award for a reason, right? Mayor, you and I have known each other for many years, and our lives in many ways are very similar. We are both Houstonians. You grew up in Acres Homes, and I in Fifth Ward. You came from hardworking, and we both sought out education, and we became attorneys. I might be a little bit older than you.
No, you're not.
At about the same time. Oh yes, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And we're going to get you that dinner. Our families to serve others. And I want to say thank you to you for all that you have done. And you are a true role model to many. And today, you know, I witnessed something about you. A sweetness, a kindness, and attention to someone that is up and coming. It was a young lady today at the Project Grad announcement. AT&T gave Project Grad $1 million grant. I'm very proud of what was accomplished there. But even more so, the ability to see our mayor talk to this young lady who came up to him. Her and she him. For a moment, she gave, but even more so, he. That moment that I saw something very unique in our mayor. Thank you for recognizing that it's not enough to just be a diverse city, but that inclusion must be realized and allowed to flourish. We must become what you have always advocated, one Houston. Thank you, Mayor.
Chairing a panel that you and I are going to be on.
That's right.
I'm just putting a plug in for it. On Saturday, the 2018 Women's History Conference.
That's
right.
right.
And we're going to be together, so I'm really looking
forward
forward.
to it.
I have great admiration for you. I've known you for years,
Thank you.
and you're an absolutely fantastic role model for women, and for men and for children, and whatever.
Yes.
You're just a terrific role model. Councilmember Cisneros.
If I would just take a moment, I just wanted to say to each and every one of you, I always feel it's important to say thank you to each one of you who is serving in public office. I don't think we say it enough. So,
congratulations, Gracie. I'm so proud of you. And when the mayor began his comments about, you know, it's really not enough to just recognize you as a Latina, you know, or a woman, because your contribution to the whole city has been so profound. And I think you should just be so proud of that. You are an incredible role model and an inspiration, and just really epitomize strength and integrity and grace and intelligence and hard work, and it's a long list of things that really are, you know, what your name is. And you know, one of the things that was interesting to me was when the new mural next door was dedicated, you walked me through the mural and you said, this is where I grew up, this is where my father worked, this is where, you know, just the whole thing, your life is on that mural. And I thought, how beautiful that is. And the other thing that just really struck me is that, you know, that this is a Lifetime Achievement Award, but there is still so much ahead of you.
That's
you know,
true.
So it's like, what do we do next, right? What's Gracie Signs going to do next? So I think we're all watching and eager to see what that will be.
thank you. Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And Gracie, I too am really happy for you and can't think of anyone more deserving. Thank you, Sophia, Roland, team. This is an incredible group of people behind you, and I know you're proud to have your grandchildren there with you.
Yes.
I'm ready to vote for Sophia now, and Lucia, I should say, right?
Lucia
is the young one, and Rafael, good job. Well, you know, and I understand that drive and the cariño and the corazon that you have. It's important. Your lifetime, as Councilmember Cisneros has said, is far from over, and I'd like to just tell you personally how much it's meant to me, your careful fostering of my interest in serving this city, and as a role model and someone who is oriented to service. I know that's true. Your heart is pure, and this is a wonderful thing. It's clear to me that your mother is with you today.
Thank you.
I know I can say that with my mother here with me today. It's her birthday, and there's something present in those of us who have so earnestly received recognition like this, that it is those of our elders and the saints of our lives who are with us. So please continue to be all of that for all of us. It means so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Christie.
Gracie, I want to reiterate the council's thanks for your service in these hallowed halls. That's the big thing. Secondary, most of you here don't know, but I was with Gracie in the Vatican. It was a private audience with Pope John Paul. He specifically blessed her, and those blessings continue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Laster.
Councilmember, I just simply want to thank you for your mentorship and your friendship and your leadership, that the spirit of which continues to this day. Thank you. God bless.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Councilmember. Councilmember Gallegos.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I too want to congratulate you, Councilmember Gracie, for all your service to the city. Of course, you sat around this horseshoe. Thank you for your service to the city. You're a neighbor of mine, so I know you're very active also in not only in the Latino community, but in the East End. So thank you for everything that you do for the community and continue to do, and I'm sure your family is very proud of you for everything that you have done. And whatever I can do to help, please let me know. Thank you.
I'll be calling.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Kubash.
Thank you for coming to see me after I got elected. You came at least 2 or 3 times, and I was always impressed when a former council member would come and talk to me about city business. I've always felt honored. I don't even remember what we talked about as far as the business side, but I do remember what we talked about when we talked about our mothers. And those private times and the prayer times, and you were concerned about me and you. My mom passed 2 years ago as well, and I haven't talked to you since then, but I know we both were having struggles. We're waiting to see what was going to happen. And God bless you, and our prayers are with you, and thank you. I'm glad you got the award.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you all, and Gracie, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cisneros to Dr. Moore to recognize her work in early childhood development.
This is such an honor for me to be part of this presentation of the proclamation to Dr. Keonta Moore. She is such an incredible resource in our city as an expert in early childhood. And so we'll go over the items in the proclamation, but what I really want to make sure everyone understands is that she is a presenter at the next Wednesday's Economic Development Subcommittee on Education, where she will be talking about early childhood and the huge role it plays in the success of children and the workforce for our city. So I just wanted to also add that she was a very important contributing member to the report of the Mayor's Task Force on Equity, and the chapter on a city where every child has a chance, I know, was penned by her. So it's my pleasure right now to read this proclamation. Dr. Keonta Moore received a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from Cornell University, a Juris Doctor from the University of Houston Law Center, and a medical degree from Baylor College of Medicine. She has spent years developing research driven policies to advance the health of children using mixed methodologies, including community-based participatory research and surveys to gain insight into the health needs of communities and to develop tailored health policy recommendations. As a Child Health Policy Fellow at Baker Institute for Public Policy, Dr. Moore helped funders and community stakeholders develop strategies to support an equitable future for children in their communities. Her most recent work involves identifying and making policy recommendations to improve early childhood development, which were disseminated nationally and locally. After Hurricane Harvey, in partnership with the Mayor's Office, UNICEF, and First 3 Years, Dr. Moore led the effort to provide social emotional support trainings for families and their very young children. This work resulted in over 650 families being served and an increased parental awareness on how to recognize and prevent Harvey-related trauma. Dr. Moore has partnered with the City of Houston Health Department and Harris County to provide early childhood development parenting classes in WIC centers in the greater Houston area. She also conducted a comprehensive needs assessment with Houston Independent School District to identify the challenges young people are faced with and prevent them from achieving academic success. The survey results have been used by the district, the Mayor's Office, and many other stakeholders to improve the lives of children within Houston. On October 2nd, 2018, Dr. Moore will be honored for her work, leadership, and advocacy to ensuring that every child has the opportunity for a bright and prosperous future. The City of Houston commends and appreciates Dr. Keonta Moore on her accomplishments and extends best wishes on all future endeavors.
And therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim October 2nd, 2018 as Dr. Keonta Moore Day in Houston, Texas. Thank you so very much, Dr. Moore. Thank you. Here you go.
You should invite your husband to come up with you.
Is that him filming?
Yeah, that's him filming.
And you brought your team?
My team, my staff, yeah. So come on up. Well, thank you. I am honored to be acknowledged for the work that I've had the privilege and honor to do for this city. I first want to thank Honorable Mayor Sylvester Turner for his leadership and dedication to ensuring that this is no longer a city of have and have-nots, and that's through education and evidenced by the Director of Education, Juliet Stefecci, who is not here today, but I also want to thank and just say that she's a wonderful leader in this work. And then, of course, to all of you council members and to Council Member Carlos Cisneros and to Jerry Davis for your commitment and work around early childhood development. You know, this work could not happen in a vacuum without the support of dynamic leaders who are committed to a vision of using data to inform policy. We are in an interesting time today, and so I feel so humbled and just grateful to be in a city where leaders and policymakers really care about data and evidence to ensure that every child has an opportunity to succeed. Of course, you know, none of us can do this alone, and so I thank my husband, who is my partner in life. You know, much of the work that I do is around families who are struggling with children, struggling because many times, too often, they have to do it alone. And so I'm grateful to have this wonderful man by my side who has been with me through law school and medical school, and we have 3 beautiful children together. And so, you know, none of this work today could happen without that support. And then, of course, behind me is my wonderful staff who works really tirelessly to make sure that all of this work gets done really in a spirit of excellence to ensure that our work really can be used by all of you to help transform this city. So I just want to thank you for the honor and the privilege to serve you in providing evidence-based policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Christie?
Dr. Moore, I hope that anyone that understands the human brain realizes the importance of your job and the belief that all children can learn. That biocomputer here is better than anything that man can put together, and that if it's just programmed by a good teacher, that's why teachers should be a priority in this society, that can program that brain to learn, inspire that child to learn, and then maybe someday we'll get this state legislature to fund pre-K totally. Early childhood is so important. So if you look around the city, every one of those children can be brilliant. So thanks for what you do. It's a very important job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Mayor, let me tell you, besides making me the chair of the Economic Development Committee, this is the best thing that you've done as far as... No, I'm sorry. I know that sounds like Councilmember Morgan, but no, seriously. This Mayor, she's awesome. Being able to, sit and tell us information, I thought it was an opportunity for me to continue to grow and learn. She told me it's too late. After 6 years of age, it's over. There's no more hope for me. But it's true. We need to make sure that we do understand that. We need to figure out everything we can do, because at 6 years of age, the highways they're built. And if we really want to make sure that our city is the best city, as we always brag and boast about, we need to make sure that we take care, and we need to make sure we make it our job as city leaders to make sure our students the best chance for success. And I want to thank you for all the things that you're doing.
Thank you.
More importantly, I want to thank you for support.
Thank you.
And being, that leg to lean on every once in a while, because I know we want to save all the children. And so I'm sure there's many nights you had to, rub her shoulders, rub her feet, rub her back, rub her neck to under, so I know you're trying to save everyone, baby, but you just can't do it. We're going to take it day by day, child by child. So we thank you for the information and the research and all the things you've been doing, especially and particularly after Harvey. Partnering up with UNICEF and working, getting the information out there. And Mayor, you may have made a mistake, because we've been partnering up, and we're going to come at you for some Harvey dollars. I'm telling you now, we're going to come at some Harvey dollars to help you with complete communities, because we need to make sure we find quality daycare. We're not calling it daycare anymore. What are we calling it?
Early childhood education centers.
Exactly. We're not calling it daycare. And I've said this 1,000 times. Once we help implement these centers throughout the city of Houston and in these complete communities, you know, I want to put daycare centers out of business. I really do. You either adopt to the model or you go out of business. We don't have the opportunity, we don't have a chance to make a mistake on a child. And so, again, I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for support and everyone who's engaged in your daily life. I just want to say thank you to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Castick Tatum.
Dr. Moore, just wanted to say thank you. We all know the correlation of high quality early childhood education programs and how they influence society. We are really looking forward to your presentation on next week, but didn't want to pass up an opportunity to tell you that the work that you do is critically important, and we appreciate all that you've done, and we're looking forward to hearing your presentation so that we can continue to get the word out on the importance of high quality early childhood education programs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you again so much for all you've done to ensure the future of our children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Will be delivered by Councilmember Gallegos, a proclamation to the Calmecac Indigenous Organization in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day.
If I can ask Bianca Rivera, Conrado Acevedo, Maria Barrera, and Elder Daniel Antun to please join us at the podium.
Thank you. Usually you see me with all my feathers. Today I was. This is Honda feathers from South America. These are macaw feathers. These are eagle feathers and owl feathers. And I earned them all. Eagles from South Dakota because I'm a Sundance Condors.
Colleagues, I'm honored and proud to present this proclamation today for Indigenous Peoples Day. I know two of my oldest brothers went to found out that we're about 35% Native American, so glad to present this. It's been historically recorded that hundreds of nomadic tribes have lived, hunted, farmed, and resided in the Houston area and along the Gulf of Mexico's coastal southern plains regions. Approximately 60 to 110 million people with a Native Amerindian population existed 500 years ago across the Americas. Indigenous people have lived upon this land prior to European settlement, and we value the progress society has accomplished through indigenous people's knowledge, labor, technology, science, philosophy, arts, and deep culture. The Diamond Knoll site was discovered in 1996 in northwestern Harris County. Archaeologists claimed it is one of the oldest digs found in North America, dating from 10 to 14,000 years ago. These Stone Age human remains found with fragments of bison teeth, ceramics, and hunting darts became the largest excavation into an early Archaic age, acknowledging Paleo-Indian occupation in southeast Texas. On October 8th, 2018, Indigenous Peoples Day will be observed in recognition of these numerous contributions that Indigenous people have made to the United States. The City of Houston commends all involved in this worthwhile endeavor and extends best wishes for a successful observance of Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thanks, Councilmember. And so, therefore, I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proclaim October 8th, 2018 as Indigenous Peoples Day in Houston, Texas.
Good afternoon. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, to each and every one of you and to everybody else that may be watching, hopefully around the world. You know, Houston's a large city. I was born and raised here, North Side. You know, Councilmember Cisneros helped us with our proclamation last year, and this year Councilmember Gallegos took it upon himself. I just want to be clear with you guys, you know, I don't want to ever infringe upon anybody else's rights. You know, we do definitely understand that this territory has been colonized. We have new laws in place. Each and every one of you is sitting here in a good way, trying to do what's best for the people as a whole. But as we can see, there are bones and fragments of pieces of history coming out of our own dirt. And those actual bones match the DNA of a lot of our people here. And with also things like our ancestry trees coming out and us questioning what our identity is as a Native American here in Houston, Texas in 2018. These are very definitive things that we need to ask ourselves. And so after doing the research and finding out my family's been here since the establishment of the Republic of the state of Texas, I'm 7th generation, my children are 8th generation Texan. When I did the research about this Diamond Knoll project to understand exactly what it meant to have Paleolithic remains coming out of where we drive on the Katy Tollway, sometimes every single day, without even thinking that just 7, 8 generations ago, there were people living freely on the land. Buffalo Bayou is named because we once had buffalo roaming free at that time. These are the things that we need to teach our children because there's a disconnect. And there's a disconnect because we don't understand our identity anymore. And because of the labels that have been placed on us as Hispanic territory of Spain, people that have been colonized, Latino coming from the Latium, direct derivative of the Spanish language that some people were taught, but my people were not. Even English, those are dialects from the other side of the world. Our people, like Huahuitec and Texan, we speak in a whole different tongue. My name is Mapihem Pakichake. It just means little green hummingbird. That's all it is. But I go all the way down to Mexico and they call me, hi, Grandma Mapi, Abuelita Mapi, and I can't even speak to the grandmothers in Mexico because I don't speak Spanish. So I'm a true testimony to what it means to be Mexican, American, Chicana, Tejana, Texan, 100%. Probably before a majority of even y'all's ancestors were here. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing us to teach, allowing us to go out into the public setting so that we can teach more people about our history and our identity as we are unfolding it ourselves and as we are maintaining the traditions of making tortillas and tamales and learning our old ways and learning our dances and our ceremonies again. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cisneros.
Thank you for coming back this year. You know, the work you do is so important, you know, especially in a place like Houston, which it's been a very fast city. You know, we're still a young city, and the growth is, you know, sometimes comes at the expense of erasing our past because we're in a hurry to, you know, to build the future. And so and I think that, you know, that you coming and is an important reminder to us, you know, about our heritage, our much deeper heritage than what we just see on the surface. But I mean, and that speaks to everyone in this room. So, you know, so thank you for that, for helping everyone to appreciate, you know, the roots of identity and to celebrate that because it takes us back to a time when there were fewer people and that we were more the same in a lot of ways. So I'm just grateful for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Councilman Gallegos. And I'll tell you, my 7th year being on council, seeing different people come to council to talk about Columbus Day has really opened my eyes. And it's to the point where I knew from history, but also it's opening my eyes of how it's really affected a lot of people. And, you know, I had to take the same look back at, you know, my high school mascot, which was Lamar Redskins. and it opened my eyes to more things and made me do more research. And so I no longer call it Columbus Day. I don't see it as Columbus Day. I don't celebrate someone who took advantage of people who were willing to give and trade jewelry and things like that, and then said in his diary that these would make good servants. I don't celebrate anyone like that. And so, again, I want to thank you all because, again, I don't call it Columbus Day to the point where I want to make my son go to school if no one else is there when they give him a day off. And so, again, I just want to say thank you all so much for shedding light. And like you said, Houston is a large city, and eyes are upon Houston. So I want to, I hope by you being here today, it's shedding more light on other things. And so people will not be so insensitive to what has transpired, what has happened, and so they can be conscientious as we move forward and to make sure we don't make these types of mistakes again. So again, I want to say thank you so much, and Councilmember, I appreciate you for making sure that we acknowledge this organization, this group, this body of people on today.
Well stated. Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And thank you, Councilmember, and for Mayor for being here with us. I have a question just because I do think you've brought now 2 years in a row some great information to us and helping us open our eyes to the importance of our ancestors. But the symbol that you have in your hand, sir, I wonder if you could tell us a word or two about this beautiful staff that you have.
I'd be happy to. Oh, you asked. I'm sorry.
You're the mayor. You're the mayor.
Mayor, perhaps you should defer to the gentleman on your left. South and west.
And that's just all nations, not just one nation. We're not separated. We teach the children what's this all about. And they're anxious to learn even more. Just like that lady has that school for the children. Well, we have a different one. We're all on accord to one that we all teach. I was at a school, and I gave a little speech. And I told this to little pre-K, kindergarten children. I said, remember, you are our future. And what you learned here today in this school, I had almost a standing ovation of clapping hands from little tots. That makes me feel like a younger man.
Right on.
But this is our symbol for our way of life. It's called a medicine wheel.
Medicine?
Medicine wheel.
Medicine wheel.
Yes, it represents 4 seasons, the 4 stages of life from infancy to adolescence to our adult and to our elders.
Yes.
It's also, like he said, the 4 original colors of the people of the earth. A lot of people, the kids ask, well, where's the brown? I don't see the brown. That's because indigenous Latino children are a combination of 2 cultures combined. The Spaniards that came over and colonized are indigenous. So the red represents all Native, Central, and Southern American indigenous people, mixed with the European, which is the Spaniard, the English, the French, all those things. Black, of course, for Africa, yellow for Asia. So we're all combinations of all of these things now. So there's no just forgetting one part of the circle because then we're incomplete. So teaching the children about the circle of trust and respect is to give them that respect when they enter our circle. So we're trying to reiterate being honorable towards your elders, your teachers, even the people that sweep your floors and clean your restrooms because they didn't do that, you would be upset. We're taking all the things back to the root teachings of the basic elements, fire, water, wind, earth, because we're coming to a generation where they're going to have to teach their grandchildren how to farm again. So these are the things that we were told by the Hopi long ago that we would have to do again. The Red Road and the prophecy, and people like Conrado and Mr. Antun have been doing this for nearly 30 years in the state of Texas, representing as non-tribal BIA card-carrying Native Americans and getting us back inside of our own ceremonies again. So people state of Texas have done the forefront for people that are in my generation. And Maria and I have children that we are now walking together. So we're doing 3-4 generations of ceremonial teaching.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, council members. And let us, on behalf of all of my colleagues, let us wish you a happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you. Will be delivered by Mayor Turner to the Houston Dynamos in honor of them winning the U.S. Open Cup final. Okay, here they come.
Yes, here I am.
Hooray for the Dynamos!
Look, I'm going to ask Chris Canetti, come on up, and the team captain, DeMarcus Beasley, and then the head coach is Wilma Cabrera. Hey, congratulations. Well, I tell you, the trophy is back. Why don't you set it right there? And then players, why don't you come? I tell you, we just did an outstanding job playing. Yeah, if y'all turn this way. Turn around initially, yeah, this way. Let me introduce one championship team to another championship team. You know, this is a championship team up here. So one championship team to another championship team. But look, another exciting day, time in the city of Houston. And it's a city of champions. And the Dynamo, y'all demonstrated that the other night, winning the U.S. Cup, and so very, very proud. And let me tell you, the city is just on fire. Enthusiasm. Every time the city needs an uplift, somebody steps up. And this year you all have stepped up, and we just simply could not be more proud. So, and we just want things to continue. You know, we've been talking about the World Cup coming in 2026, and we got to march in that direction. This is another step moving in that direction. And so we wanted you to come just for us to say thank you to all of you for what you've done, what you continue to do. We certainly want to encourage all of Houston to continue to be supportive, fill up every seat over there at BBVA, every seat. And you all have demonstrated you've come to play. We want to win, and so we want to be supportive. Because this is and let me do this. It says Houston Dynamo U.S. Open Cup champions. The Houston Dynamo, Major League Soccer club that has won 2 MLS Cup championships and 4 conference championships in the first 12 seasons. The Houston Dynamo have qualified to represent the city of Houston and the United States in international competition six times. The Houston Dynamo team is comprised of outstanding athletes that form an unstoppable team. Oh, I'm going to mess this up. Their names are Eric Alexander, Arturo Alvarez, DeMarcos Beasley, Eric Bird, Juan Davis Cabezas, Darwin Sorin, A.J. De La Garza, Tyler Derrick, Connor Donovan, Albert Ellis, Alejandro Formeo, Buniek, did I get that right? Buniek Garcia, Kevin Garcia, Luis Gill, Leonardo. Okay, then I got Adam Lundqvist, Adolfo Machado, Mauro Manotas, Tomas Martinez, Michael Nelson, Ronaldo Pena, Romel Quioto. Well, Dylan Remick, Memo Rodriguez, Chris Seitz, Felipe Senderos, Mark Steves, Jared Watts, Andrew Winger, Joe Willis, Sylvester Turner. The players are led by the goalkeeper. The players are led by a talented and dedicated coaching and support staff, which includes General Manager Matt Jordan, Head Coach Wilmer Cabrera, Assistant Coaches Michael Della Russo and Davey Arnold. Goalkeeper coach Paul Rogers, thank you, Paul. Head of performance Paul Gaffrey. Assistant fitness coach Steve Fail. Assistant general manager Nick Koba. Performance analyst Oliver Cage. Team administrator Cesar Martinez. Director of equipment operations Chris Maxwell. Assistant equipment manager Eddie Serta. And head athletic trainer Chris Rumsey, assistant athletic trainer Casey Carson, and physical therapist Nathan Ramos. Who is he here? Where is he? Where's that name? Where is he? Okay. And then the massage therapist is Wes Spikes. On September 26th, the day before my birthday, on September 26, 2018, the Houston Dynamo became the champion of American soccer by defeating the Philadelphia Union 3-0 at BBVA Compass Stadium in the 2018 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup final, capturing the first U.S. Open Cup title in their club's illustrious history. And on October 2nd, 2018, the Houston Dynamo will be honored as the 2018 U.S. Open Cup champions. The city of Houston commends and congratulates the Houston Dynamo on their triumphant accomplishment and unwavering display of teamwork through great athleticism and resiliency, and extends best wishes on their continued success. Therefore, I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim this day, October 2nd, 2018, as Houston Dynamo's U.S. Open Cup Champions Day in Houston, Texas. Thank you for what you already have done.
Well, thank you, Mayor Turner. We appreciate you inviting us here today for this proclamation and celebration. When we were here 2 weeks ago as a pep rally to get ready for the U.S. Open Cup final, we promised that we would deliver a birthday present for you. So that trophy did not belong to us 2 weeks ago, but it now does officially belong to the Houston Dynamo. And as we had promised, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll say two things very quickly, then I'd like to turn it over to our captain and coach for some quick comments. Mayor, I know you like to talk about how resilient this city is often and time again. And I think when you look at this group of players and what they've gone through this season and the run they made to win the U.S. Open Cup and be champions and bring this trophy home to Houston, it's just another example of great resiliency and fight and representation of the great city that we are all part of. And secondly, what I love about this team and what is unique about this team as it compares to other pro sports teams here in town is how it represents our city. And when you look at these players, we really have a mix of people. For example, great American players like DeMarcus Beasley, local homegrown players. We have 3 players from Houston, Arturo Alvarez, Tyler Derrick, and Memo Rodriguez, who grew up right here in Houston. And then when you look at the gentlemen around the room, we have 13 players that represent 9 different countries from around the world, from both South America, Central America, and Europe. Even our coaching staff is diverse and well represented. So multicultural, diverse group of people that represent this very multicultural and diverse city, as we like to promote ourselves as. So they are proud to represent our city and to be here today. And without further ado, let me introduce to you, in my opinion, a player who's had the greatest American career out of any soccer player in this country. And he's our captain, and he's been with us for the last 4.5 years, DeMarcus Beasley.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
You're not that much bigger than me.
No, I know. We got the same hairstyle. I'm only kidding. Just really quick, on behalf of all the players of the Houston Dynamo, we just want to say, thank you to Mayor Turner, all the council members for your continued support, throughout the season, especially last week, Wednesday, when we hosted whatever. There you go. The Open Cup championship. Obviously this was a big win, a big tournament, a big championship for us. And like I said, in our history and for the players, it was amazing. So to have it, to be able to win it in front of you guys, in front of the city of Houston, in our own stadium, in front of our families, in front of our, guys that have kids and everything, it was really special, really special. So we just want to say thank you for the continued support that you give us throughout, every season, not just this one. And we hope to see you. We have our last home game next Sunday, so hope to see you all out there at BBVA. And cheers on. Hope you get another win. Thank you.
By the way, you guys just heard from the only American to ever have appeared in 4 World Cups, DeMarcus Beasley, so well represented here. We did introduce to you our head coach. He's in his 2nd season with the Dynamo. Last year in his 1st season, he led us into the playoffs and all the way to the Western Conference Final, which is the equivalent of going to the AFC Conference Final, just for those of you who need to put perspective on that. And this year, of course, leading us to the U.S. Open Cup Championship. So he's off to a good start in his 2nd season as head coach of the Houston.
For me, it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much, Mayor, for your invitation, and thank you all members of the council to let us our trophy with you, because this is the trophy for Houston. This is the trophy for a city, city of champions, as the mayor said to all of us. So we are proud, but also we know what is coming in front of us. And as a leader of this team, we are promised that we're going to prepare ourselves the best pride and to the Houston Dynamo. So we know that is something excited to put Houston United States map as a champions, but also we're going to take that responsibility, and we can invite you anytime because you're in great shape, but appreciate, and it's more to come. We know it's not going to be easy, but we are.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you very much, Councilman.
The players in Texas, real quick.
That's it, those 3 years.
Over here?
Sorry,
where'd you go to high school? Over here. Katie? Yeah, the mayor went to Klein. Any, where? Is that's it for Houston? Well, I just want you guys to know we're proud of everybody, but being biased, and want you to know, are they getting paid the most money, Chris? You talk about this to Lucas fella all the time, but you have 4 Houstonians, man. You know, we need to move them on up to the top of the ladder. Teasing, but we're proud of each and every one of you. But the ones from Houston, you guys, I always say to young kids when I have an opportunity to talk with them, it's about making choices in life, and you guys made the right choice in terms of when you transition from high school to become professionals. You know, you could be doing something different. And we're just really proud of you being from our city and doing the right thing and representing our city. Coach, I want to thank you individuals. Y'all making our city proud. And I keep telling soccer, I'm still not there yet. My nieces, my nephews, all of them know it. Councilmember Robert's going on because they watch you guys every week. But I do plan to be at the next Sunday closeout, Chris. I'm going to come and hang out. And if I see they need help, I'm going to suit up and come and help y'all.
You'll lose. You don't need
to. Say congratulations out here bragging on you, man, making us proud as well.
Remember, Councilmember Stardig?
How proud we are. As a native Houstonian, it's important to me that we have that world stage and that we perform at this level because it does give recognition to our city, to the character of our city, and to the people. So representing our city is very important to me and so much for Houston, so we want to thank you again. As a side note, I do have Albion Soccer. If any of you are familiar with Albion in my district, and I'm very proud of that programming for the youth and any of you that probably participated if you're out in Northwest Houston area over the years. Mark and that group does a great job. They do a great job, Mayor, with the kids, and I think J.J. Watt might have done a commercial out there with some of the kids from that other team that we have, and we're very excited about this team and all that they do. I did take a photo just now because I just came back from Germany and made a lot of friends from major cities around the world, and I'll be sharing that with them proudly. So once again, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for your contributions back into the community. Thank you.
Coach, I wish that you would take our delusional mayor over to practice someday, and y'all all help him out because he needs a lot of help. He was talking about introducing y'all today, and he said, I can dribble too, you know. And so he still thinks he helped win Game 7 for the Houston Astros. So take him and give him a good workout. Congratulations. I mean, it's a big deal. A lot of people don't know the dedication that you have to get to this spot. I've known Olympians and gold medal winners and Wimbledon champions, and people don't realize the intensity, the dedication, the workouts that y'all do. But we know it's tough to be number one, and that is an admiration of mine to see people that have the agility and the speed and the fitness that you have. So it was worth all the work, and you are an example to kids growing up, what you do. So congratulations on that. And one last free consultation. If there's pain, don't cover it up with pills. Don't cover it up with shots. Find out what's causing the pain. Fix that, and you'll have longevity in your career. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, so it's out. I'm probably the biggest soccer fan, football fan in this room. Other than y'all, I'm hugely proud of you guys, but I want to tell you, this mayor, he's learning. And I sat with him for the final with Croatia playing France, and we were in Lima, Peru. So, Wilmer, not too far from Cartagena. And for those of you who are from here or from elsewhere, thank you for making, Houston a capital soccer city. 2026, we're going to have the world's focus on us, and you guys are going to be champions again. And I really appreciate Chris's commitment to this. This is a team that looks like Houston. It's the diversity you guys are representing well. You all are in incredible shape. Keep it up. Do it for yourselves. Do it for us. Do it for the people of Houston. We need another championship team here. And, you know, whether the mayor is at peak performance yet remains to be seen. I got to whisper to him to watch the attacker on the French squad, Mbappe, and our mayor understands what that man has and brings to the field. So you guys are doing the same. DeMarcus, I've been watching you for so many years, and you're just doing it. What an inspiration to the team. And for those of you tending goal, Tyler, hometown guy, Boniak from Central America, you know, in awe of this team. Keep up the great work. And I'm rolling, apparently.
Thank you, Councilmember Cisneros.
You know, this really is such a huge, big deal that you've accomplished this. I wanted to just say I used to teach third grade, and I had a class full of kids that wanted to grow up and be professional soccer players. I know you know children like that. You were like that as a child, but you were some of the few that actually get to live this dream. And do you feel like you're living a dream? Because look where you are, and one of the things that I like to see when I watch a game is that how you move like one organism, that it's so just such a smooth thing to see, that how you work together. I mean really the beauty of teamwork, and you do it so well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. And Councilmember Martin.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, guys. Chris, good job. I remember the days of U of H and playing on that horrible field, and then I was on the Sports Authority when we built the Dynamo Stadium. And I'll give my friend who thinks he's a soccer guy. What team did we get DeMarcus Beasley from years ago? Yeah.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
No, Chicago Fire. Come on, right? No? What was it? Flamed out. So anyway, one of the things that we need to do with the two fastest growing sports in the United States are lacrosse and soccer. Lacrosse and soccer. And I think a reason for that is a lot of the head injuries that we're seeing in football and a lot of kids that are migrating to your sport. And one of the things that we have the opportunity to do, Mayor, and I think it's in the Economic Development's court, is to expand the fields that we have in the Dynamo's 288 complex. And I think if we're going to really grow the sport and put our money where our mouth is, we need to make sure that we have the ability to do that for these guys and for all the kids that play club sports and high school sports. One of the things that I really don't like as a parent of 3 kids that played soccer is when a lot of the high school kids love playing for their high school teams, but when the club teams came around, they prevented guys, the boys, from playing high school and club at the same time. And that's one of the things I think that needs a little bit of a fix. And I understand what the academy's doing and things of that nature, but with the fastest growing sport and you guys are playing it in front of us, I think we need to really look at that complex and put a little bit more fields there so that all kids around the city of Houston have the opportunity to play this phenomenal sport. So DeMarcus, what was the team?
Puebla in Mexico.
But didn't you play for the Fire?
Yeah, I played for Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Barely
My bad.
Not directly from the Fire. You got it. You were close.
Yeah, close.
Started with the Fire.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on fire. So, congratulations, guys. Keep up the good work.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Congratulations, and well said. I agree with you, Councilman Martin. We do need to increase the field space off 288.
Amen. Second.
And I agree with both of you, and the only thing that would really make it all perfect is when the Dash is standing up here and they've won the championship. So there we go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Come on, fellas.
Stand up.
So you're in the picture.
Hey, so you guys, make your way around to the...
There we go. Come on, guys. Around this way.
Yeah, I mean, not for soccer. I do it for lacrosse. I'm sorry. I'm glad. We are. We're actually, I've been yelling at the crossboard for years.
Come on, guys, come on in.
Oh, yeah.
Move along.
Rugby in the back portion as well. And so we're looking
Get up high.
I want to do more crossboard. Good to meet you.
Gentlemen? Just, come on. Keep moving. There we go. Martin. If you.
Yeah, we're good enough. You can see me. That's all that's important.
Me too.
Oh. We're okay. Stand on your toes. Stand in the chair. We're good.
Don't stand in the chair. Don't stand in your chair.
There you go. All right. One more. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
One more.
Pink. Yeah, we need to make that. We'll put it back.
Whoa. One more. Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you so much. I should have brought my Dynamo scarf I have. Thank you again. Thanks a lot.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Super excited for you.
Thanks again. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. You made it happen.
Placer. Muchísimas gracias. Es un honor.
Sorry, Seven Lakes, what's your name? I see one. Tyler. The tall one over here, this one, El Capo. And Katie. Somewhere, no, not that one, not.
Okay.
It was two Katie's. Yeah. You ready?
Well.
Here.
Councilmember Stardig.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Cohen. Here. Boykins. Martin.
Present.
Lee. Travis. Cisneros.
Here.
Gallegos. Laster. Castex. Tatum.
Here.
Knox. Robinson.
Here.
Kubash.
Here.
Edwards.
Present.
And Christie.
Here.
And I forgot the invitation.
That's okay. The invocation will be given today, will be led by Councilmember Christie.
I defer to the Right Reverend Greg Travis.
Thank you. Breathe in us, O Holy Spirit, that our thoughts may all be holy. Act in us, O Holy Spirit, that our work too may be holy. Draw our hearts, O Holy Spirit, that we may love only what is holy. Strengthen us, O Holy Spirit, to defend all that is holy. And guard us so that, O Holy Spirit, that we may always be holy. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to adopt the June 12 and 13 minutes and delay the balance?
I move.
It's been moved and seconded. Any objections? Here is none. The motion is granted. Okay, I don't see any motions in the queue. So, Madam Secretary, we'll proceed with the speakers list.
Okay, David Gamboa, to be followed by Pastor Vega.
You wanted you to read that. Pastor wanted you to read that. He just handed it over.
So thank you, Mayor Turner, and thank you for council members for your service to our city. My name is David Gamboa. I work for a nonprofit called Elijah Rising. And so we do work in Houston to end sex trafficking through prayer, awareness, intervention, and restoration. And today I would like to talk about the robot brothel that was proposed to come to the city of Houston. When we first heard about it, it seemed a little bit foolish to us, but we began to do research. And after that, our concerns grew about how this could impact the illegal sex trade and sex trafficking. So we wrote a blog and we put out a petition, and today we have over 13,000 signatures of people who are expressing their concerns and reasons why we don't want this in our city. And so I would just like to share a few of our reasons for why we do not want these type of businesses in our city. Some people take the position that sex bot brothels can in some way be therapeutic for men. We disagree and take the position that sex bot brothels will ultimately harm men by dehumanizing sex and women. There was a study done by the British Medical Journal on Sexual and Reproductive, and they had found that no evidence that sex benefits. The researchers also said that there's no evidence to suggest that sex bots could help reduce the spread of sexually transmitted infections or curb sex trafficking, sex tourism, or other aspects of the sex trade. They also said while many sex bot users may distinguish between fact and fantasy, some buyers may not, leading to concern about potentially exacerbating the risk of sexual assault and rape of real women and children. It is a parallel to prostitution that allows men to rehearse purchasing sex. Our third point is this: it's bad for women, because a study interviewed more than 800 women in prostitution from 9 different countries. And what they found was 61% of those women had experienced rape, and 73% of the women had been violently sexually assaulted. What that tells us is that the commercial sex industry is inherently violent in nature, and robot brothels will create spaces for potential sex buyers to enact sexually abusive fantasies. The marketing director for one of these doll manufacturing companies called Aura Dolls said that she sees it as a way for men to fulfill their fantasies by using these robots. She said, we try to focus on the fact that since we have this service...
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. There are several people in the queue that would like to talk with you. Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. David, go ahead and finish your comments.
Okay, thank you. The marketing director said, we try to focus on the fact that since we have this service for men who have these dark, violent fantasies, instead of putting out the urge to act aggressively, they can take it out on sex bots. So Houston is being targeted as the first city in the U.S. to have this type of live sex act business, as we call it, robot brothels. And I believe we must do our part to prevent industries like this that promote commercial sexual exploitation and rape culture.
David, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for everything you just said.
Unfortunately, let me just.
I'm glad you're here today.
Let me just remind people: during this session, you have to wave your hand or stand up in support, but we don't allow applause in this portion of the meeting. Okay, go back, Councilman Travis.
A few more minutes. Another minute. Thank you. Again, thank you for being here. Appreciate everybody being here. I think this stunned everybody. I think that it took us all by surprise around here. It took everybody in surprise. I think when I first heard this, I thought, oh my God, Westworld is coming. Okay? And then my next thought was revulsion. It was gross. I already had a plan. Thank God the mayor's doing what he's doing, and I'm glad we're tightening up our restrictions. But I already had a plan because somebody told me it was going to be in my district. But whether it's in my district or my city, I already had a plan, and I'm free to share it with everybody. I've already got cameras lined up that whenever, if ever, this ever occurs, I'll be out there 24/7 with cameras filming everybody that goes in and everybody goes out. And we'll post it on social media so people can see who's using this, okay? Because I don't see any good from any of this. I don't know what any of this is good for. And you gave all the right reasons right there as to why the problems are what the problems are. And I'm sure there's even more if we sit here and have more than 3 minutes to talk about it.
Definitely.
But thank you for bringing it to our attention. And Mayor, thank you for going forward with the changes. I think they're very well necessary, and I'm strongly supportive of restricting this. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Gamboa, thank you for your presentation. I also want to thank Elijah Rising, which is in District J. Unfortunately, this location is also being proposed to be just on the inside of District J. And that's not a business that we're looking to bring to that part of Southwest Houston. I certainly would like to thank you and your organization, Ms. French, and the work that you've done out there over the last several years. We certainly have an ongoing problem in Southwest Houston for human trafficking and sex trade trafficking. And every light that we can bring to that conversation is important. And certainly Elijah Rising has played a unique role in that, and I want to thank you for that. I look forward to working with Mayor Turner and all of the departments to do everything that we can to put within the legal limits of the Constitution and everything else the ability to limit this business as much as possible. And I thank you for your testimony today, and I look forward to working with you on a continued basis in District J. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Boykins.
Thank you, Mayor. David, thank you for your presentation, and I can just be as clear as crystal to you today and tomorrow and tell you I will not be supporting this effort regardless where in the city they even consider putting it. I definitely will not be in support. Mayor, this will be on the agenda tomorrow or something?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll have an opportunity to cast the vote on tomorrow, and I thank the mayor for his leadership on this as well. But we are, no. No. Thank you.
Councilmember Christie.
Really do appreciate you coming down here, and the presentation was flawless. So I think you're going to get some help tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, Pastor Vega. Pastor Vega will be followed by Aladdin Abdullah.
How you doing? I'm Pastor Vega with Daddy's Feet Ministries.
and I came to speak about the robotic brothels that are being presented to our city. Men and women of council, we trust you guys to stand on the front lines in guarding our city with ordinances that would block such damaging results to Houstonians. The question is that we have to ask ourselves is why they would target Houston. Why would they think that they can come into our city and bring such a business? I truly believe it's because we are the leaders of Texas and we set the example to the United States. Bringing a business like this would destroy homes and families and finances of our neighbors and cause major community uproars in the cities. As a pastor, we stand on the front lines with you guys. We go into the cities, into the neighborhoods that nobody wants to go into, praying against prostitution, going against drug addiction and people that are trapped into those type of sexual sins and things. We go into the prisons and the jails to minister to those brothers and sisters that need our help. We even go as far as counseling men and women on divorces to try to draw down the statistic numbers that are constantly going up. A business like this will continue to open up doors for sexual desires and cause confusion and destructions to our younger generation. Our city has been under attack before. We have been targeted, and we came together to fight against the bathroom ordinance and won. They wanted our sermons, and we sent them Genesis to Revelations. We joined together against Harvey and his effects to restore and build our city. It did not matter if you were Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or even atheist. We responded in such a way of true unity. We set the example for our nation. When God, in the book of Genesis, God created man and woman, it was a relationship that was ordained by God between man and woman and not any other way. A robotic brothel doesn't just defile men and women, but it comes against the word of God. And if you believe that God will just sit back and remain silent, I'm sorry, you're sadly mistaken. Know this, that the word of God is truth and will be fulfilled. God does not hate people. He only hates the sin. I'm asking you, councilmen and women, to start blocking sin from entering our city. Thank you.
1 second, Councilman Christie.
Pastor Vega, that was the best sermon I've heard in a few weeks here, so that's good. We'll pass the collection plate, actually. You are correct. They target Houston, Texas for a lot of vices, they're looking for leadership, and we are the city of the future. Diverse, we get along, crime rates down. That's why they targeted Houston. You are absolutely correct, because we set the pattern, and hopefully we can set the moral pattern too. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do an Abdullah to be followed by Tex Christopher.
Thank you very much. There you go. Honorable Mayor Turner and Council, I appreciate you inviting me to have a moment of your time. My name is Bo Abdullah. I'm the founder of a local nonprofit called Love People, Not Pixels. And our mission is to reduce the demand for human trafficking. Now, obviously, the robot brothel has been a hot topic. And, I want to say thank you personally and thank the council for the strong, quick stance that came out last week when this news broke. And those direct words, this is not the kind of business we want in our city. Thank you. Thank you for that. But we have to ask ourselves, why are people even interested in that? See, sex trafficking is a heart issue, and we're about reaching the heart of demand. We say we want to reduce the demand. How do we get to the heart? What draws a man to want to rent a robot? What draws a man to want to purchase a human being? And so we want to reach the hearts of men, so they want to honor, respect, and protect women, not purchase them. And so, Councilman Travis, I love the fact that you said you got cameras ready to go. My question is, what are you waiting for? Because the cameras shouldn't just come out with the guys who want to buy robots. Let's put the cameras on the guys who are buying these girls. We know where these places are at. So get the cameras out and we'll help you. We will help you. Because the midwife of healing is pain. And as long as we continue to go by silent and let people go after and exploit people without consequence or being brought into the light, it's going to continue to fester. I know you guys are working on a plan, and I know it's coming to council tomorrow. My encouragement to you is to give a robust solution. I know the lawyers are going to think about this, and they get paid a lot more than me. Last week was robots. Next week it's going to be virtual reality and haptic suits. We have to create ordinances that can see into the future and take care of it all, so we're not back here in a month or 6 months or a year. I encourage you to look at the City of Phoenix's Sexual-Oriented Business Act, and they specifically call out live sex act businesses. The idea of live sex acts. Did you know we had to mobilize against a private expo at a public hotel last May that was planning to do an expo with a dungeon and promoting live sex and bodily fluids in a conference hall that was probably going to be rented for a wedding the next day? We shouldn't have to mobilize against that. We should have a city that has ordinances that says you can't have events like that. It is against our rule. And so we're not talking about simply regulation. We need to render these types of businesses illegal. Illegal. And my last point is, as we come down on regulation, we don't need to regulate the girls. We need to regulate the business owners. We need to punish them because they're making a lot of money on these girls. And it can't be $100 fines and $500 fines. You violate these laws, we shut you down. Let's get into six-figure fines. Let's hit them with their wallets, and let's regulate these ordinances we have on file.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired.
One
Thank
second.
you.
Councilmember Christie.
Mr. Abdullah, and this will probably go for the next two speakers also. Y'all were meant to be here, and your presentations are flawless. And, you know, we cannot create a moral vacuum in this city. So, really, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Abdullah, thank you for calling me out on the cameras. Afterwards, let's talk, and let's figure out how we can do this together, okay? I'm on your side.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, Tax credit, Christopher, to be followed by Virginia Morales.
All right. Good afternoon, City Council and Mayor. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you guys today. I'm here to honor God. I'm here to honor my country. I'm here to honor my state. And I'm here to honor my city. I'm the gentleman who introduced House Bill 2266 to the 85th legislation, which is the Human Trafficking Prevention Act of Texas. I will be back in the 86th legislation from January 21st and to June 3rd to go ahead and do it again. So I'm very passionate about this issue, as I'm very passionate about my city. You guys all know me. You've seen me come and discuss with you guys before and all the different issues, so it should be no surprise that I'm here with you today, because I want to be here and celebrate with you today, because today's an exciting day. Because today is the day that we're not going to tell the world, Houston, we have a problem. Today's the day that we get to say, don't mess with Texas. That's something to be embraced. What does the Word of God have to say? In Ephesians 5:31, it says that a man shall leave his father and mother and shall be joined unto his wife, and they shall become one. It doesn't say that a man should leave his mother and father and go and join a robot, and they become one. These are sad, sad times that we live in, and it's so important that we get to come together and we can take this stand and be united. And I'm so proud that you guys are with us, because I want to be in the fight with you. If there's anything that I personally can do with you guys on this issue, I want to be sure that you call upon me, and I will be there to do my part. Why? Because it's immoral. Immoral, you look it up, it says not conforming to accepted standard of morality. Second, not in conformity with accepted standards of proper sexual behavior, because it's unethical, bad, morally wrong, wicked, evil, foul, dishonorable, sinful, godless, impure, perverse, perverted, promiscuous, and is crooked and sleazy. And anything that has to be done in the dark is wrong. So I thank you for your time, and I look forward to working together right here to make Houston the very best, because like what's been said, we're leaders and we're vision. Ain't that right, Jack? If we can put a man on the moon, we can do this. If we can speak into existence that we're the energy capital of the free world, we can do this. We can perform the first open heart surgery and share it with the world. It is okay for us to stand together and say no. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Tex, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for standing up for what's right. You know, ever since the Industrial Revolution, we've seen machineries help man do things that is unimaginable. You know, we were able to put a man on the moon. We were able to travel long distances within a few hours. And social media brought on the next revolution in connecting us across the world. I'm able to connect to my cousins in Vietnam. And I've never been back to Vietnam. I don't even know what he looks like before social media. But the one thing that I did notice with the problem with these modern technologies is my children sometimes sit across from each other and not even communicate. They would text to each other. They would do Snapchat. And that bothers me. You know, a human requires interaction. We requires that commitment to one another. And call me old-fashioned, but I still like that face-to-face interaction. I don't mind doing teleconference once in a while, but, you know, sit down, talk to each other, looking each other into the eye, and making that commitment that, you know, we're here together and we're going to make a promise. Same as a man and a woman. You know, not to a robot.
Right.
You know, that's not the technology that we want for our children or our society. I think we're heading the wrong path. So I'm glad that you and your friends are up here telling us and reminding us and all of Houston and the world that, you know, Houstonians won't stand for that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Christopher. You know, one of the challenges that we have in the city is that there are unfortunately markets, if you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
There's supply and demand, if you know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Part of that market sometimes involves landlords that decide that they want to rent to people that ought not to be in these businesses to begin with. And to the extent that the community can bring a positive influence on those landowners, those people that go out and rent these facilities, because somebody has to either build it, buy it, or rent it. And if we're not willing to rent it to those types of facilities, we might have a different conversation. So to the extent that you can bring a positive comment to the community, please keep on doing so. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that, because after today and this week, and I've already talked to some of you guys previously, that I think I need to add an addendum to the bill as it goes before legislation services this November, because I could not agree with you more, because we need to hold the renters accountable, the landlords.
Councilmember Kubash.
Thank you very much. Tex, I appreciate David Gamboa and Pastor Vega and Brother Abdullah and you coming to speak about this. When the media started calling me, I said, well, are you talking about these plastic prostitutes? Because to me, that's what it appeared to be. You know, the last thing that, you know, we need in the city of Houston is a robotic brothel. I feel so appreciative that the mayor has got on it so quickly, and that we have an ordinance that's already before us tomorrow.
Yes.
And reading it, I can see where we're going to be able to either limit or completely stop this. And so I'm very proud of that. So thank you for coming and giving your support to the council and to the mayor for this matter. It means a lot to all of us, and thank you very much, all of you that have come.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, Virginia Morales, to be followed by Marianne Scott.
After hours of being attacked today in social media and being called ignorant, uneducated, just a simple woman that doesn't have a clue about sexual behavior, I am here, and let me tell you, I must be very ignorant to stand here before all of you. I stand, first of all, I stand as a Christian. I am here today representing my neighbors, representing my fellow women, but most of all, I'm representing my children. As a mother, I have the right to speak for my kids, even though they are grown, even though they might not be able to come and communicate how they feel about this robot. I do feel that I am entitled to say my freedom of speech, and I do feel that I'm entitled to say exactly how I feel about the many issues our city has when it comes to sexual business. It is very important, me as a woman, to put this issue in front of each one of us as citizens, as representatives of the law, how these businesses are created to degrade me as a woman. When I was created by my Father God, he say in Genesis 2:23, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she is taken out of a man." That being said, as a woman, I am concerned and horrified to see where our society is taking us. I am proud to be a mother who stands for family values, who stands for the best interest of our future, which is our children. And I'm totally representing that today. As a citizen, I am entitled to make my voice heard, and I'm entitled to ask, when did brothels become legal in Texas? The word brodel insults me. The word brodel should not represent any business of any kind in our city. Sex robots don't get pregnant. Sex robots don't give any sexual satisfaction. Sex robots don't have feelings. I think we all can agree with that. After 14 years of being in healthcare myself, because I am educated, I have 2 bachelors and I have 1 master's. But I am not a politician like Mr. Tex Christopher. I am not of any kind. Yes, I'm not of any kind.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you. I hope you make the right decisions.
1 second. Mayor Pro Tem Ellen Coyne.
Thank you very much. I certainly agree with everything that you had to say. I would also add the point that this whole thing, I mean, there's so many pieces to it, not the least of which is health care, the fact that it's almost mind-boggling to think about the diseases that could be spread through something like this. And also the fact that, robot or not, what it does is perpetuates violence. If a man has a robot and decides to have rough sex, be violent, whatever the term is, it can very easily translate into how he behaves with his own partner in many ways. So, I mean, the whole idea of the brothel, for so many reasons, is abhorrent. And I appreciate your comments, and I certainly hope my colleagues will join me and vote against any attempt to put this in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. Virginia, you started off talking, and you said that there were people out there on social media that were calling you ignorant, and that you're not. And sometimes you need to know that, you know that. And I appreciate you standing up to them. What we are seeing in this event represents a culmination of the degradation of society. I never thought it happened this fast. A while back, I watched on Tosh.0 a gentleman who said he was in love with his car and tried to make love to his car. I just thought that was silly, and it was a one-off. But this seems to be something a little bit more serious. And I don't really understand it myself. I don't get it, because when you think about the act itself, it's one to draw an intimacy, to closeness, interpersonal. And you can't be personal with a machine. And so I think it demeans. I think it's just gross. And I think we do have the health issues we're talking about. And in so many ways it's just wrong. But I wonder how we get here, and we need to think about that because we talked earlier about people texting when they're in the same room with each other. We are not as close as individuals should be. Social media, while good, has also, I think, had a bad effect on us. And I think that this is just one more aspect of us going away from interpersonal communication and going to something robotic. And I don't see any good coming from it. And I appreciate you coming here and expressing your feelings and your thoughts because, again, this is the culmination of where we are today in the degradation of society.
Thank you each and everyone for hearing me as a woman.
One second. I'm sorry. Councilman Mustardi.
I want to thank you for your courage to come down today. It is a sensitive topic. It is one that I find, this is what I find. The people that demand tolerance are typically the least tolerant. So I want to, again, make sure that we are listening to everyone's opinion and respecting your opinion today is very important to me. I think you as a Christian, professing your Christianity is important to you. It's important to you to come down here to say that and to be heard. And I think it's just as important to me to hear it. So I appreciate you coming down. I know social media can be very ugly and very mean, but please do not let that deter you from voicing your opinion and your right to come down here to share it with us. I too have issues and concerns and have from the minute I heard about it. We have had a reputation. We talked about, Mayor, the billboards that, we took down how many years ago because what were they advertising when you came in on the airport, came in from the airport? Gentlemen's clubs. That was what was advertised on the freeway. I am old enough to remember that was your first impression when you came to Houston, Texas. It was not the impression we wanted. We changed that. We've changed. We have world championship sports. We have so many great things going on in our city. We don't want to be known worldwide for these things. We don't want these things happening here. We want good quality living for everyone. And I say that about persons with disabilities, about persons, from different backgrounds. We want everyone to feel welcome, but this is not about that. This is about something else. So thank you again for your courage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Marion Scott is not present. Mr. Johnson Barhisi, to be followed by Charlene Nimmons.
Thank you for your time. My name is Johnson. I represent a hotel in the Greens Point area. For over 18 months now, we've actually been dealing with the City of Houston water. We, with our latest bill, we've accrued a total of over $100,000 that we owe the city in water. We've requested for the past 18 months, we requested that our meter be changed and that we come to a agreement about an adjustment. And for the past year, we've requested a Water Adjustment Board hearing of our case to resolve this issue. So I brought it before the council here today and the mayor's office because we don't know where else to turn to get a resolution.
And who is this a business?
This is a business, yes.
And so tell me again when
the problem we were having is that our water bill has been exceedingly high for the past more than 18 months, but it's been 18 months since we brought it to the city's attention.
Okay, was it when you first brought it to the city's attention? I'm sorry.
It was in April of 2017 that we first brought it to the city's attention.
And how much was it?
Monthly averages were had gone from about an average of 4,000 up to an average of 6,000, while our occupancy had not had any changes.
How many people in the business?
It's a hotel, so we're
a hotel?
Yes. And while we were at full occupancy, our bill actually, has fluctuated the same as when we're at 50% occupancy.
Okay, what I'm showing you, HPW records show this account is pending. It's pending a review by the Water Adjustment Board, which is the third and final appeal option available through the City of Houston.
Yes.
The customer is disputing the hearing examiner's decision to uphold the administrative review outcome.
And this was requested, we had our first hearing in September of 2017, and we requested the Water Board review in October of 2017.
Okay. I'm going to have to take a look at it because I don't have any more information before me. How long has the business been in business? The hotel been
11
in business?
years. The hotel hasn't been in business for about 30 years, but the current owner has owned it for the past, I want to say about 8 years.
I mean,
no, we initially thought that someone had came out to change the meter, but then we were told that it was only the dial that was changed, the register.
So what has the bill been averaging over the last 12 months?
This past month, our bill shows over $6,000 again.
Over $6,000 a month?
Yes.
And prior to you're saying was over $4,000 a month?
About right around $4,000 a month.
Okay. And have you all retained somebody to go and take a look at it?
Yes, we actually called American Leak Detection to come out, and we paid to have them perform a leak test of our facilities to make sure it wasn't us.
Okay, and have y'all changed the meter out there?
No.
Okay, I tell you what, if you would get with Monica Vasquez,
Here on the right?
that's Monica right there with Houston Public Works. Okay. And then Monica, if you all would take a look at it, it's kind of difficult for us to make an assessment when I don't have anything really before me. But if you all would take a look at it, and I know it's still before the Water Adjustment Board. Did they work out an agreement with you at one point?
They did. They have done a survey of our meter to install the new meter, but that was 11 months ago.
Okay. But did you all work out an agreement of any kind?
Oh, no, we have not. We have not had the chance, except for that one review hearing that we had. We have not gotten any other hearings.
Okay. And what is your position?
I'm the manager there at the hotel.
The manager?
Yes.
Okay, Councilman Mustardi.
Mayor, this it's not specifically about this. This is something I was going to bring up tomorrow. I don't know about my colleagues, district council members. We continue to get complaints about the water bills and how it's being handled in the water department. So I don't know if this is part of this or if this is a separate issue, but something's got to be looked at more closely. The way I know you committed to customer service when you came into office, and I cheered you on, and I continue to do so on that point that we must continue to have an outstanding level of customer service. But I don't feel, based on the feedback that I've received from my staff and constituents, that that's the case in that department. So if we could prove otherwise to me, I would appreciate it and understand where we're going, where we've got these bills that are not being responded to. And maybe, you know, we don't have all the information on this particular case, but I do know there's a history of others. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to, dealing with the hotel, I don't necessarily want to connect the two, but certainly we'll be visiting with Carol and her team on it. But if you'll get with Monica Vasquez, and Monica, if you all would take a look at it, and then I'll visit with Carol.
Thank you for your
time. With the director. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Charlene Nimmons, to be followed by Jesus Mandel.
Hi, my name is Charlene Nimmons.
Hi.
Thank you for taking time.
Certainly.
Mayor Turner and all of City Council. We're going to be seeing you Thursday. I have a nonprofit organization called Public Housing Communities. Our headquarters is in New York, and we last year registered to do business in the city of Texas. And I'm sorry, the state of Texas. And so we planned our annual conference, which is going to be here this week, and we started to hear about you're going to have the hearing and economic opportunity. We know that you guys have funding that has come in, and we just wanted to put some light on how a lot of funding comes into our cities, into our states, and many times the underserved don't get access. And so we have prided ourselves on looking at federal funding and how it comes in and how it can impact the lives of individuals who live in public housing. Not only the housing authority, but also voucher holders and so forth. And these regulations that come through the federal government have stipulations that are attached to it, known as sections about the housing authority, but it's really about how do you take and utilize the funding to have a particular fund that you have right now that's in one of my partners, staffers. He's going to be talking about it in more detail. But how do we continue to say that we want to do better for those who don't have, not only just do jobs, but training and also contracts? And we talk about teaching individuals how to own their own businesses. Individuals, it's all about self-sufficiency. How do we make sure that we help the people become self-sufficient? And too many times we overlook some of the positive impacts that we could have with just sometimes sitting in workshops and letting people know that these opportunities are available. And so that's a lot of what we do. We make sure that not only do they know about the opportunities, but to activate themselves or, start up their own businesses. Starting up the businesses also creates jobs for those who may not want to own their own business.
Okay. 1 second.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry.
Public housing communities.
Public housing communities. Okay, and I'm going to reserve my next question for the staffer who has more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Information
Yeah,
about
give it to Renee.
Okay, Jesus Mendel, to be followed by Eric Crawford.
Correction, it's Medel, M-E-D-E-L.
It's what again, I'm sorry?
My last name is M-E-D-E-L, not Mendel.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Greetings and blessings to you and your families, Mayor and members of the City Council. In my view, the manner of operation that the Houston Arts Alliance has conducted in the past years has bordered as criminal acts. I'm here to reiterate the voices of Chicano, Latino, cultural administrators, organizations in regards to the deplorable funding that we have gotten in past years from the Houston Art Alliance. Is Houston sensitive to artists that are of Latino, Chicano descent in this city? The numbers don't match. The Houston Art Alliance has been insensitive to our needs in the past. And Mayor, I want to commend you with regards to the commission that you put in place with regards to the Hispanic Advisory Board. I hope that this clears the situation. But as an artist and an art and working with a museum here in Houston, Museo Guadalupe Aztlán, that you have the card before you, I don't feel that we have a future in this city.
But I just approved some additional monies to the Latino art.
I understand, sir. But with regards to a museum that is not a 501c3, that is basically operating as a as a mom and pop organization, but we've been in existence since 1994, and if we've gotten several resolutions from our city councilman, there's very little room for us to continue growing in this city if we decide to become a 501c3, given the record that the Houston Art Alliance has had in past years, not your administration, sir. So I'm concerned as an art organization and as an individual artist. So I want to end with this question. How will our community, the Chicano Latino community, will we be getting reports in terms of how the monies are being spent individually?
I will tell you, tomorrow, with the Latino art community, to highlight additional funding.
Okay.
And that's tomorrow.
Good. I didn't know about that event.
Right.
But again, blessings to you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. One second.
Hello, Mr. Medel. I'm Carla Cisneros. I'm the City Council member for Denver Harbor, which is where you're from. Is that correct?
I'm in Northside.
Northside.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were in Denver Harbor. Well, I represent Northside too.
Okay.
But yes, the mayor is correct. There's a and I think one of the things that's been confusing is that, I think this is really a very good time to be an artist in Houston. With this mayor and with the leadership, he is changing things that you are correct, have not been good before. But some of the data that's now being shared widely is like from 2010 to 2015. But it shows, just that how especially people of color have been, and especially Latino artists have been historically underfunded, but that is really changing, and the Houston Arts Alliance is changed dramatically since yet either. There's new leadership there. There's new restructuring of grants that are much more user friendly. That there was in the past there was a lot of more red tape. There was the grants weren't as widely available like throughout the year. There's a lot of support, and there's another organization as well that is helping artists locally called Fresh Arts that are helping artists with the business end of art. But I've organized numerous workshops, artist workshops myself, in communities that and have advertised them. I want to visit with you and share some more with you. But I think the good news is it's changing. I mean, it already is changing. And then tomorrow, the press conference that the mayor's referencing is announcing some very exciting things that will be all across Houston throughout the spring.
Is that conference going to be where?
The press conference will be, or
a
reception or announcements will be tomorrow in the Legacy Room downstairs. I'll share with you.
Okay, but respectfully, I suggest that we have liaisons in the Latino community that represent the Houston Art Alliance so that we can best serve those art organizations and Latino artists. We're spending $54 billion as Hispanics in this city, and we deserve more, obviously.
Right.
So,
hold on 1 second. Councilmember Stardy.
Thank you. I have to disagree. I have been here since 2010. I know what the Houston Arts Alliance looked like before, and I know what it looks like today. And I can tell you in District A, you want to talk about inequity? We didn't even have a piece of public art in District A. So, and we represent all people. So I'm very concerned that anyone would say that John, the new CEO and executive director, and that entire board is not going in the right direction. I do not agree. I think they're doing a great job. They went to great efforts along with our department here in the mayor's office to move a single piece of art that we finally got in District A, which is 100 square miles of the city and represents Hispanics, Anglo, African American. I can go all the way down the list of all the peoples, the Asians, everyone that's in this district is finally got a piece of public art. And so I don't want anyone to derail the momentum that we have going with Houston Arts Alliance right now, Mayor. I am very supportive of this direction and that there's art for all in the city of Houston. Thank you.
In my view, the Houston Art Alliance has bordered on institutional racism, the way that they have not funded our organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Eric Crawford.
Eric Crawford is coming.
to be followed by Letitia Norwood.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all for the opportunity, to the mayor of this great city, to the representative city council across this city who's representing residents and people of Houston. We do appreciate your service, and we know at times it can be frustrating and hard. To follow up with what Charlene was talking about with public housing communities, when I was 18, I started to get involved in a movement in New York City, where I was born and raised. Coming from the inner cities of the Bronx, there was always services that wasn't available to us for some reason, because we was living in public housing or based on our community. There was this desegregation of poverty where, you know, they put us in one area and there was lack of services available, and we had to be voiceful. And rather than using my youthhood for gangs and drugs, I got involved in community movement and activism and holding my elected officials accountable and going to city council members like this to be able to talk about services that was dire need. And one of the provisions that happened long ago from our forefathers and through some of the civil rights movements was a Section 3 requirement that started with Richard Nixon, president, when there was a provision to help low-income individuals have an opportunity to services and growth. And if I reference back to the August 7th City Council meeting, the ordinance that y'all voted on, point 24, 2018-0612, spoke about $6.6 million of federal community development block grants to fund the New Hope housing. And I think I sent y'all all an email applauding that provision and that opportunity. But with that opportunity become an economic opportunity for low-income individuals as well. Based on those numbers, about $700,000 of that money, the contractors, in this case I look like I saw about 11 of them, will be responsible to provide economic opportunity to low-income housing residents. Rather, and with this particular grant, it starts with residents of that service area, and if I'm not mistaken, I heard a press release Tom McCaslin and the mayor spoke about 100 properties or areas that y'all highlighted to have this New Hope development. Well, residents of that surrounding area that are low income should have an opportunity to get funding by either job opportunities or training opportunities. Youth Build participants, homeless persons in that service area, and recipients of housing assistance, some type of voucher program, should have an opportunity to get some economic development from that. So either the contractor can provide job opportunities, or the contractor can provide some type of training opportunity to help people to grow into those different fields, rather it's carpentry, etc. And the provision from the federal government also allowed for, if they don't follow it, consequences. And as the receiver and recipient of that funding, the city council, y'all are responsible to ensure that those contractor or contractors do what they need to do.
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for coming down. And I appreciate you all for noting some of the opportunities that should be occurring in some of these areas, and I think we are making strides and taking steps in the right direction. Our Office of Business Opportunity, as well along with the City of Houston, the Mayor's administration, we're working with HBI over in Acres Homes, which borderlines the District A and District B. We're training young men and women. We just had our first graduating class last week for doing construction and housing. So we're taking funds from doing things like that. Also, Mayor's implemented the first 5 communities as complete communities, trying to figure out what we're missing and what's needed and what we have in these areas. So when we put down housing, we come back with wraparound services from Health and Human Services, economic opportunities, which you mentioned earlier. So we're taking some steps towards that. And we're looking as well as more CDBG money that's going to come down with Harvey on some workforce opportunities, things like that. And so, again, we just want to thank you all for pointing those things out. And we are aligned with what you all are saying, and we're working in that direction, and we're taking the steps to make those, as the mayor would say, make those communities complete. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Okay, Latasha Norwood, to be followed by Tracy Bettercheck.
Good afternoon. I'm Latasha Norwood, Managing Partner of Elroney & Associates and founder of She Said, She Led, She Is. As many of you know, October is National Women's Small Business Month. In October of 2015, Congress passed a resolution designating October as National Women's Small Business Month. And in 2016, I founded an organization that is dedicated to supporting women in business. Since our inception, we've hosted 2 conferences. We have also hosted a private reception that celebrated the City of Houston leaders like Councilmember Edwards, Councilmember Stardig, Councilmember Cohen, and also Councilmember Cisneros and other city leaders. We have hosted a number of capacity building workshops that have supported women in business. And this week, I'm excited to share that we're taking it a step further. We are hosting this Friday a mini conference at a high school in HISD, helping to connect young women to help them to understand the opportunities in owning a business. And we're also hosting our 3rd annual conference where we will be serving more than 200 ladies. I have with me today Dr. DeWanna Horn, who is a representative from Texas Women's University, and also a game-changing business owner, Ms. Brittany Brotnax, who will be in attendance as well. We have scheduled over 20 capacity building workshops. Mayor Turner will be there representing the City of Houston, and we also have members of the general body of Houston that will be in attendance as well. I thank you so much for your service to the City of Houston, and I would like to extend a personal invitation for you to attend as well.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your efforts. I was first briefed of this event from one of your presenters, Kimberly Michelle. Fantastic, hair designer, business owner, all of the above, and she began to tell me a little bit about what was going on. So I want to say thank you for being that spark, inspiration, role model, ... And thank you for, again, assembling this all-star speaker lineup is what you call it. This is an opportunity to showcase to other people and that of what Houston has and what we are doing here. And again, so I want to thank you for She Said, She Led, and all the opportunities that you're presenting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you so much, Ms. Norwood, for your presentation and what you're doing to create the connective tissue that is so important in trying to cultivate our small businesses, our women-owned businesses, our minority-owned businesses. That's one of the items that we'll be looking into helping to support. It's very important that here in Houston, we become a place and home for where we actually solve some of the solve problems and challenges that face these communities. And so having connective tissue with events like these, this is going to be, these are the things that make a difference for a business owner and entrepreneur. So I just want to thank you for having the foresight to do this and the leadership, and thank you again for your efforts just generally in the community. It has not been unnoticed, and we appreciate you and the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I look forward to joining you all on Saturday morning.
Thank you. I also want to note that we do have tickets available. If any members within your districts would like to attend, we would happily oblige and accept them as well. We're not.
Okay, Tracy Federchek, to be followed by Rosie Guzman.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Everyone, let me be here. I didn't win the World Cup, and I don't have a Lifetime Achievement Award, but I do have a problem.
Okay.
And I am a native Houstonian. I learned to drive when Westheimer was 2 lanes each way. Highway 6 was a gravel road. This is my home. I've never had problems with the police department before, but 10 days ago, an ex-boyfriend tried to get in my house, and I called 911. And he broke the window, and I called 911 back. And after 7 calls and 3.5 hours later, they showed up. I'm really ticked off. I could have been dead. By the time the police got there, I had broken windows. My door was literally off the hinges and laying on the floor in my living room. My service animal, I'm trying to keep her, 'cause I'm disabled. My service animal was in the bedroom, so I could try to keep this. It was raining outside. He took my dog, my breeding Chihuahua male, had the female in the bedroom by this time. He stole my medications, and all the police officers would tell me was, he's your boyfriend, you let him in. How do I stop him? He kicked the door in. The door isn't even there anymore. It's laying on the floor. How do I stop that? Then he tells it, and this, he lives here. No, he doesn't. He's not on the leash. He's not, and all that.
When is this?
I don't have money. I'm just mad that the police were called 7 times. 7 times. And
this was in July?
Pardon?
This was in July?
September, just a few days ago.
Oh, September.
Like last week.
Houston Police Department?
Yes, and I finally, after the police, yes, 911, when I finally talked to, when the police finally got there and they basically said they couldn't do anything, they never even asked what he was wearing, what he looked like. He had my medications, everything. They never even asked. Before, he's got a dog, a Chihuahua on a leash. He's wearing a jacket. Don't you want business? Okay, and he reminded me that he had body cam on. I'm like, good for you, because I'm going to go to city council. I hope they can pull it up. Okay, I'm a disabled elderly woman. I deserve to get response time quicker than not right.
Well, we do take any potentially. We just had a press conference on it today. So,
well, what do I do now? How do I?
Well, let us follow up on it. It happened in September. Where is he now?
I don't know where he is.
He stayed completely away from you since then?
Yes, sir. And it's not like I can't really come here to complain about domestic violence situation. I'm not doing that.
The response time.
Yeah. It should not. I live in a complex that I moved there after Hurricane Harvey when I lost my home. Mm-hmm. It's what I.
So how long did it take the police to get to you?
Pardon?
How long did it take for them to arrive?
Oh, 3.5 hours. Well, a little over 3 hours, between 3 and 3.5 hours. And they said that it was what he said was, this was not a life-threatening emergency, which is why they didn't arrive quick enough. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I got broken glass. When someone is breaking in your home, one of two things is going to happen. The person that's doing the breaking in is going to hurt someone. The person inside is going to hurt. Something bad's going to happen.
All right, let's let's drill down and take a look at it and see what.
Oh, by the way, after that, I found out that District 12 is the police station, Clear Lake, that does my area. And I talked to Sergeant Baez, and he was very helpful. He sent another set of police officers out there.
Okay.
It was, the trouble had already happened a long time. Right. But he sent someone else out there with another sergeant to look at and see what I was saying had happened. Yet I could do, and nobody ever found him.
Right.
But, they were just rude. It was just wrong. It could have been anything else.
Right. But did the sergeant, when he sent someone out, did they correct it? They apologized?
Well, you can't correct it. Look, my window was already broken. Okay, how do you correct it? Okay, but the fact is that he had an independent police station. Now, what he was going to do to complain and everything, but they were like, so what? There's nothing I can do.
Well, let's Councilmember Stardate.
I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for coming down and sharing your story. It's not easy, but we want to make sure that the service is provided and that you feel confident in the service. It is unfortunate we do have the lack of resources, but it doesn't make it better for you, because when something like that is happening and someone's terrorizing you, it is a very frightening situation. We do understand. Did you get your property back?
Yeah, actually, someone found the dog. He had let go of the dog, and the dog was worth a couple $1,000. It was a gift. That was another thing. The officer said they couldn't do anything about that because it was a gift, so I didn't really lose anything. I didn't pay for it. Where are the police coming up with this? Okay, those were his exact words.
Well, your pet is your pet, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, he's back. I didn't get my med. They redid everything.
Okay, good.
Like I said, I just live in a very low-income area now, and that complex, police just won't show up. I'm not the only person. I can come back next Tuesday with other people that have called police.
I'm confident that the mayor and Houston Police Department will follow up with you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosie Guzman, to be followed by Harrison Kumar.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Mayor Turner, council member, councilwomen.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Rosa Guzman, and I am a native Houstonian, and I reside in the East End District and have been a resident there for over 27 years, with my mother being elderly. I'm a homeowner in the East End of 19 years. I am the former president of the Second Ward Super Neighborhood, as well as the vice president, back with the Second Ward Super Neighborhood back in the day with Bo Fraga. Basically, I am concerned about the community with how I lived there for so long and really seeing things going to the west side, nothing kind of staying there in our area. So myself and a longtime resident, Elena Pinto, kind of put together what was a master plan for Eastwood Park back in 2015 when TERS was pretty much new to our area. So we were shunned the moment that we brought the presentation to the table. We were kicked out. But thank goodness that there was a woman that served as president that allowed us to do the presentation. It was kind of sugar-coated with the TERS attorneys because they did my PowerPoint presentation for me. And I was commended by a lot of people, deputy chiefs that were present, as well as other council people that were present, that this project was going to take off and do something really good for the East End. Unfortunately, when our council members changed from Councilmember Gonzalez to Councilmember Cisneros, we did present this to her, myself and Ms. Pinto, but unfortunately, with you council members, they have their own visions, their own ideas. You respect that and you welcome her. She has been good for our area. Basically, with that being said, because we were residents and I was serving a Second Ward Super Neighborhood, they didn't want to let us go through with this because it had to go through Second Ward Super Neighborhood first. But with that being said, it was being done by the resident, Ms. Pinto, so they went ahead and did this for us. Other districts have implemented kind of our ideas. We're grateful that Complete Communities is finally coming through our area, and thank you for that, Mayor. Long overdue. I did work with council member as far as safe sidewalk projects when she talked about this with her budget, and we were able to implement sidewalks for the Herina and Burnett students, okay? Then, you kind of know that you've done your part for the community and you want to continue with the community, and then the TERS seats become available that we were told back in 2015 that this was community-based, community-driven. So with that being said, you reach out to your council member, you get letters of recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time has expired. Thank you.
Do you want to just finish your point very briefly?
Yes, you get letters of recommendation, you get appointed, and then you're told that your seat is going to go to someone at Stella Link, and then you're appointed, then you're taken off, and then I was told that you were impressed by my resume, and then I'm being told that now that there's another lady that's going to take my place. So I feel this is an injustice. It's a form of discrimination. It's an underserved board. We don't have enough community people that sit on TERS, and it's really important, Mayor, because we want to keep this money in our area and not in the hands of the developers that will take from our children of tomorrow and the elderly of today. This needs to stop, and I really feel that if I was appointed, that I need to be given my seat and I need to serve my community. And there's two sides to the story. You're maybe listening to one, and as an attorney, I would hope that you would know there's two sides. And I am good for my community.
Right, and you are, and I guess the important thing, or not the important thing, but there are so many people who are interested in serving on these boards, these TERS in particular, and they're limited positions, and we always try to find opportunities. What I would say to you, just not being on this one at this time doesn't mean that we don't look for other opportunities, and many of these positions are termed anyway, and they will come back around. But there are...
Which is understandable, but like I was told 2 seats come up in December, and I was going to be appointed for the seats in December, which I was okay with. I had no problem. I didn't have to serve now, but then I was told that it was going to a lady in Stella Link. I questioned it, and then she calls me back, Miss Maria Montes, to tell me that, oh no, you're going to get the seat. I received letters, welcoming letters. I received other correspondence of appointments, and then I was told I would be appointed on the 29th of August, and then I was told there was going to be a reschedule in September, and it never happened. So for me, I feel it's discriminating against me to an underserved board, and it's an injustice. I don't think it's fair, and it needs to stop. That's what hurts our community. These decisions that are made that are not the right decisions, and the people do not benefit from this at all.
Well, I appreciate your statements and your concern, but I will tell you we get recommendations and a long list of names from everyone in those areas, in those geographical areas. Many of the people I personally don't know, but there's a long list of people who do want to serve, and we don't throw your name away. You know, we will always look for the next opportunity.
Correct.
And I hope you will continue. I know you will.
No, I will. In fairness, my only thing that I would hope that you would reconsider the seats for December, that I would be appointed to one of those seats, because I am, I guess, on the list. I mean, I don't understand how you're given a position that's taken away. I mean, in the real world, it just doesn't happen, you know? I don't understand.
Right. Well, I can't promise in terms of when the next time or when it will come around, but I will tell you that I know you will continue to serve and do everything you can.
I'm still part of Second Ward Super Neighborhood. It's just I'm just representative at large. So anything that you see, you want to make sure it stays within the area.
Right. Well, let's keep talking. Let's keep working together. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, Harrison Kuma. Harrison Kuma is not present. Coletta Bryan. Is not present. Nia Colbert is present, and be followed by Glenola Richard.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I've given you some documents to look over, and I'm just going to quickly go through these. My concern is that, and please pardon my wording on this draft, these were just notes to myself. So my concern is that some of our elders and disabled may be on the street because of some of these egregious legal matters. One of the documents you see is not properly executed by the constable's office. It alleges that it was stuck in the door, not affixed to the door as required by the Texas Property Code. It says that I owe $235 in rent for September. Yet you have a document showing a rent receipt in my check to the management. I have to get to a courthouse that is not accessible by Metro. This is a practice in some of our JP courts where you've got 2 courts. Many of our elders and disabled do not have vehicles and simply cannot address the wrongful evictions and retaliatory evictions. One of the other documents you will see was the first time they were going to evict me. I think that's mail fraud, and I attempted to reach Consumer Affairs and the Inspector General to present this document. What this management is doing is criminal, and that's why I'm here. It shows a ledger with the first fee July 4th, 2015. I moved there post-Hurricane Harvey in 2018. I'm just concerned about how often people are put out on the streets for this type of, I won't even use that word. According to Ms. Trinia Meadows, who assists Tori Gonsoley, I don't know her exact title. Now, these are her words. Ms. Colbert, when someone wants you off their property, they're going to get you off their property. I came to the city council. I presented a stack of documentation to indicate that our elders and disabled, not only in this property, but others, are being mistreated. I indicated that you can look at the body camera of this T.D. Robertson, this officer who came out. You had elders and disabled waiting to pay their rent. There's no one in the office. They had pest control come out, and Mayor, I'm still coughing. Whatever they put in there is a chemical, and someone needs to check on it. The last thing I want to say, and this is really important.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time has expired.
I'll let you finish your thought.
Thank you so much. This direct response team and this particular officer, you know, before, when mentally challenged or mentally people with mental disorders went to the downtown office, they were just shot dead. There were a couple stories. I'm not making it up. I don't particularly like this officer coming in my unit, strong-arming me, and attempting to force me to consider medications. That's a medical decision. He overstepped the boundaries, and I won't be opening my door. And I won't be bothering the police department, who's not equipped to handle this matter. But I'm particularly afraid of being alone as a woman. In this day of civilian and police relationships, I think that was a stupid idea. I was tired. I'd just come in. I was exhausted. I opened the door and let the man in. And he closed the door. I closed the door. I think I closed it. I don't know. That is my disability. I'm under stress. I'm under duress. I'm doing my best. We need help.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let me ask you to get with Renee from the Mayor's Office of Assistance, and let's drill down on it. You're certainly very articulate in stating your position, and let's drill down and see what we can do.
I've already worked over the months with Mr. Rene Ruiz, who has given me first the referral to Ms. Roxanne Lawson, then Ms. Trinia Meadows. Mayor, I'm getting nowhere. The city has funds in this property. It's a tax credit property. If HHA, the Houston Housing Authority, isn't cutting it, it's time for the city to get involved to figure out what's going on over there.
Okay, which property is it?
The Pinnacle on Wheelcrest, right over there where they're getting ready to have the sex brothels? Yes, same area. We've got problems.
Right, that is the Houston Housing Authority. Okay, we'll follow up. Let me follow up with the.
Been saying that for 3 months, and so far nothing has happened. Nothing.
Well,
Thank you, ma'am. Granola Richard. Granola Richard is not present. Yvonne Silva. Yvonne Silva.
Ms. Richards. I'm going to Richard.
You Miss Richards. This is.
You're Miss Rich. You're Yvonne Granola Richard. Okay, go right ahead.
Yes. It seems every time I come for myself, it's always a housing problem, which it is today. I'm at 6,000 Telephone Road, and at the, I think it was the beginning of last month, my husband went and to the office and said that he wanted me out. And so they gave me till the 4th of this month for me to move. They haven't given me any paperwork or anything like that. My name is on the lease, but they say since he is the anyhow, since he is the I'll say boss because I can't think of the word that I want to use. That I have to move. I don't understand it. My lease is not supposed to be up until December, and this, like I said, is going to in a way present me with a hardship because I'm not getting the opportunity to stay there at least until December in order to find some place more suitable. And I didn't know, since I went through the same process he went to get through 6000 Telephone Road, that he would have that kind of authority to just say, you know, I want you out, and they say you have to go. It doesn't sound legal to me. So I just need to know what kind of recourse that I would have in this particular situation.
Okay, one second. Vice Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, ma'am, for coming down. So you live in an apartment with someone else?
My husband.
Your husband. And both names are on the lease?
Right.
And you've not been served any eviction notice?
Nothing. He went to the office, said he wanted me out. They said
correct.
You have to go.
So technically, they would have to serve you papers from the JP from that area for you to be removed from the premises. And so I'm going to say that I can't tell you to stay because I don't know what ramifications may be. I'm just saying, I can't tell you to stay because I don't know the situation between you and your husband. But I would say, I'm going to say technically they cannot make you leave until they evict you. And you have to have your day in court with the JP's office, and you can give your side. And then from that point, the JP makes a ruling on what's going to happen.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the city, that's a civil issue, and we're not in that area.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure that, I was going to be there at least until December, and that, I did have some time. That's all I was concerned about.
And is your husband there?
Sir?
Is your husband? He's there. I'm assuming that, I don't want to get personal with your business, but since you brought it here.
Well, this is a very peculiar situation. Trust me on that. It's not for anything that I've done.
No, but I'm saying, are you all on one accord and not on one accord?
Me what?
Is the relationship between the two of you a good one or not a good one?
It's a peculiar the way he was raised, a lot of things that he, in his old age, think is appropriate is very inappropriate, and because I won't tolerate it, he is very angry because I won't tolerate this toxic mentality that he's got. I just won't do it.
Okay, well, it seems like y'all may need to be apart.
Oh, we will be apart.
No, but I know, but you wanted to stay there till December.
Yeah, well, till
right. And what I'm saying is that Renee had Renee, that's something or some advice, or because we're not in a position to really give the advice. So if there's some agency, maybe refer to the Houston Area Women's Center. Okay, I don't want to necessarily put you back in a situation that may be toxic. Okay,
but it's nothing physical or anything like that. It's more like a mental thing because his a growing up stopper in childhood.
Well, I understand what you. I understand, but I still think you need to get some additional advice from somebody else.
That's great.
Right. So Renee, refer to the Houston Area Women's Center.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Yvonne Silva. Yvonne Silva will be followed by Sylvia Adams.
Oh, Miss Silva, get right behind that mic.
Congratulations, Mayor Turner. Thank you, City Council. I won't get on my soapbox opera, but you know what it's all about. Homeowner associations and civic clubs are still out of control. In my neighborhood, when we go to our civic club, we do not get correct information from the super neighborhoods. Specifically I'm here to complain about an easement or a three-way stop on Peppermill and Amnora and Hollister, and the developer is going to put like 16 townhomes. We already have traffic issues in Hollister Place, and the deed restrictions were changed without proper voting. We don't even know what the deed restrictions are because we have not gotten a proper copy of them. And when I call the city, which you know that I don't leave one leaf unturned, Joe Myers is supposed to look into it, has never called about the flooding on Peppermill, on Alcott, and I have contacted Stephen Costello. We have lived in this neighborhood for 50 years, and that intersection has always flooded. Now with the new developer putting a moat and covering up the ditch to make it as a parking lot is making bigger issues for Hollister Place. I have 3 family members that live in Mady Creek. The city of Houston had no idea that Mady Creek over there on Bear Creek is part of the city of Houston. So this is a real sensitive subject to me because I was not out there for fun. No one bothered to tell us that there was feces, that we should bathe after we are exposed to that water, and a lot of those people in Mady Creek are still suffering, and the city of Houston has ignored them. My concern is the house that we're living in now, and I have asked Brenda Starding's office to address this issue several times. Amy was there when we were having a civic meeting, and there was not a quorum, and yet things were passed. This is not fair to any citizen. And if District A is really that diversified, then everything needs to be in different languages, not just English. Because I find that a lot of Latinos, Hispanics, whatever, are the ones that are being targeted. You know, you can have the same violation down the street, but it doesn't really matter. So there's a lot of inconsistency in these civic clubs. And we know because Michael Gaynor is involved in helping changing the deed restrictions, it's not really done in a fair manner.
And which subdivision is this? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Which subdivision? I mean, which?
Hollister Place. It's off of Alcott. And In Town Homes is the developer that I've been complaining about. This has been a right-of-way for 50 years, and now the city is allowing this developer to put 16 townhomes in a little bitty square without addressing the current traffic issues that I've been complaining about since Bruce Tatro. So that's a long time.
Oh, Bruce. Okay. Okay. Councilmember started.
Before your time?
Yes. Well,
yeah. Thank you for coming down. Mayor, I just want to give you an update. The area, Councilmember Czar Costello has a SWAT project that will be going on in that very shortly. We'll get an update out on that. The triangle that she was talking about is the one that I've talked to you about and Andy Icken about, and I don't think there's anything that we can do to prevent it under the circumstances of the ordinances. I did speak with Frank Liu himself. I called him personally to plead with him to think of another solution, and he declined my request, even though I'm the one that tried to work with him on other issues. So if you have a solution, I'm all for it. I was trying to make sure the super neighborhoods being involved. Catherine Barchfield is one of the most active super neighborhood presidents in that area and keeps everyone very informed. She's actually tonight she's going to multiple neighborhoods as a civic leader. I was trying to think what else the concerns that she brought. The area that she's talking about Hollister and that Alcott area, I have been concerned about. I've actually worked for the last 20 years at right there in front of St. Jerome's, not just north of where she's speaking. And at one time we had, there was some grease that was dumped in that intersection, causing a number of flooding issues. We had that corrected. We've had another number of issues corrected. But this is an area that I have asked for consideration of a development. I initially wanted a TERS in that area so we could get the funding for Hollister to be rebuilt so that we could take on the issues of flooding in these neighborhoods behind St. Jerome that has been a concern of mine for years, and I don't know how else. We've talked about Campbell, we've talked about Hollister, we've come up with a solution for Newlands, we've come up with a solution for Gessner. These are the next ones that I've made the ask for, and I know you've heard my ask, so I don't know how else to respond other than there's only a limited budget, and it continues to be more and more limited by the changes that continue in our budget. So if you have any response, Mayor, I appreciate it.
I don't have any.
Well, I have one more comment. First of all, thank you, HPD, for everything you do, because you're put in weird positions. But you've heard several comments. The TERS are very self-serving. And when I call the city about flooding issues, I resent being told to call an activist Mr. Brown. Stephen Costello and Joe Myers have every authority to go check out, and that little triangle is going to cause so many traffic problems, and I feel like City Council should address the issue before, because I and other neighbors, just because it's legal doesn't make it okay, and it's putting a lot of people's safety on the line, because we can't even get out of our neighborhood in the morning or in the evening.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I've asked Public Works, if I may, Mayor, to address the sightline issue that I'm concerned about, because I played Little League softball. I was an all-star back in the day. Yay. Right down the street, the field's down the street from there. I know the intersections. I grew up driving there.
It's been a right-of-way forever, and it never had a notice of variance. It never had a variance of, for us to go, this is not going to work for us.
It didn't require one, so that's the issue. It is his property. The problem, one of the problems is the city refused to work with him on straightening it out.
Well, I asked way back when, so this is a serious problem, because it was even before any of y'all were sitting here. Let's fix this when it was still a horse pasture before it becomes a problem.
I'm with you.
And one last thing, our safety is on y'all's hands.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Sylvia Adams, to be followed by Victoria Anders.
Ms. Adams.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Turner and City Council, for taking this time. And as Ms. Stardick knows, Yvonne's staying on it, and unfortunately for you, Ms. Stardick, and everybody else, Yvonne comes from a long family of activists. My mother was an activist for Hispanic rights, and we've been to the Capitol, and I was asked to control her, and she's old enough. Bottom line, Yvonne lives with me. I moved here 50 years ago. We had this problem, and we addressed this problem about the flooding and the traffic with Mayor Brown, and it was my idea at the time that because they were going to put the school, and I said, we only have one way out of our subdivision. How can we get out during school time when we can't even move, when we already have problems with the other school where the old location was? Well, they were going to tear that school down because it was not up to par, whatever. The school district was going to tear it down. So at that point, I suggested that since St. Jerome's has a school and it's a two ways going either way, that they should build the school over there and build the houses over here. Well, it may have created a larger problem, but Brenda does have a problem, and I don't know how y'all are going to get straightened out. There is that particular triangle. I don't understand how 16 houses would go there unless they're all going up 6 floors. And I thought they were going to build like they're building in other locations, which are not nicer houses. These are like row houses that are about this much apart from each other. Well, I guess legally they have to be, they're all 3 stories. And I mean, just, it's an eyesore for me that the bulk of that little subdivision, we're, I think, 48 houses. Like I said, a lot of us have lived there for 50 years and maybe a couple of years, give or take. And some of the people have either died, moved away, the kids have sold, and one of them just sold last week. And, you know, it's a nice neighborhood. It was a nice neighborhood to raise your children because you always knew where they were and, you know, things like that. But that subdivision has flooded since day one, just with heavy to get into the subdivision. So before the city allowed.
Just hold on 1 second. Councilmember Stardick.
Thank you for coming down. I agree with you. I've been concerned about the flooding in that neighborhood for many years. Like I said, we've systematically tried to carve off the things that we could within, you know, the means that were given to us. But now it's become, Mayor, I don't understand at this point. I think, and I think we need to, I need to talk to Costello again about it, because that right around that point in Colby Farms in your neighborhood is about the dividing line of the two watersheds. So to me, it probably should be the higher grounds. But for this neighborhood to flood the way it does and the runoff, it's not, something's not right in that area. And I know the SWAT project is in place and is coming, but I think we need to, it's the solution for this neighborhood.
Well, having lost 3 houses to Harvey, 2 had insurance and 1 doesn't have insurance, and this is another thing that I'm sorry to take up your time, but it needs to be addressed by the city, that the contractors that were brought in helped people, but they did a very sorry job. And to complain about it, they said that because these contractors were complaining about not getting paid. And I said, I want to find out if this is true. That's our way of controlling the funding.
Not understanding. Were they obtained?
No, they're the contractors provided by the city or some organization. I know because I was.
Can we get the facts with my office so that we can?
Okay, Brenda, because it's something that really needs to be addressed.
And can I make a comment about the Maid Creek? Mayor Mary Benton reached out to me for you and I to have a tour of post-Harvey neighborhoods, and that is one of the ones I gave to her and is on your list. So we are following up on that neighborhood, just so you know. That was already is in the pipeline to happen. It's just that the weekend that he chose happened to be the weekend I was handling a family matter.
Yeah, that is already on the list.
And I'm not on an elderly couple that the lady was having cancer surgery, and their house is
neighborhood. It was wiped out. Every time I talk to Harris County Flood Control, I can assure you they know about Maid Creek. It was wiped out. The live rescues were occurring. The mayor knows that I was on the phone with him all night of the storm. The live rescues were happening off of Barker, Cypress, off of I-10 by Captain Bryan and his team of Northwest Command, and they were bringing them back to the station, that gas station there, and then bringing as many they could to either Trinity Mendenhall or downtown. So I know very well what you're speaking of. It's very important to all of us that we continue to follow up on this particular neighborhood and any others in the area on the other side of that dam that are in the city, and I know very well they're in the city, and continue to serve them as well. So I appreciate y'all bringing that up again.
Because my daughter's house was, her back door was to the dam. So, and they're planning on building there again. So this is why further back from her place. So this is something that needs to be addressed, and that falls because Houston has no zoning regulations.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have Pastor Calvin Miller. I'm going to call after Victoria Anders. Pastor Miller had advised the council member that he did not know he had to call. Victoria Anders.
Not here.
Not here. How about Pastor Miller?
Thank y'all so much. My name is Pastor Calvin Miller. Hello to the mayor and to everyone in attendance. Appreciate y'all so much at the last minute for taking me. I really didn't know that I had to call. I'm usually behind scenes just working in my community, as Mayor Turner knows, and really not trying to be seen. But I do have an issue on hand that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to address to see if I can get into. I've done several. I'm from Sunnyside, South Park, Houston District 3D with council member. I've reached out on several occasions about a property that's over, have become a nuisance, a trash dump to the community. I am also a part of the Crestmount Civic Club, and so I work very closely with the Civic Club members. I'm probably the young. I've done several community projects. We've partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. We have mentored and counseled several kids in their community that out there, Sterling High School, Thomas Middle School, and also Madden Elementary School, schools diligently and in the community over in the South Park, community across from Park Texas, Park Houston apartments, have been abandoned since I was 4 years old. I was raised in Park Houston apartments. This area have been abandoned. Drugs, violence, everything is happening in this area. We're not asking the city of Houston for any money. We have investors that want to invest in our nonprofit organization to help us build rehab centers. We're going to get a pool over there in that area because there's no pool for the kids to go to in that area. We wanted to do a nature trail over there. We also want a homeless population for our veterans. I was in the Navy for 12 years, and Houston, we know, have about 5,000 homeless people on our streets. About 70% of them is probably vets. And so we came up with an idea if we can just help get 10 police a little problem that we have with our homeless personnel. So we have investors that want to help invest, who owns this property, don't jack the price from $350,000 to about $750,000 to want to sell his property once he found that we were serious about this property. And this is also including a community store in the same property where we was going to hire second chance felons because we jobs to work on our organization for.
Thank you, sir. Your time has expired. Thank you.
So let me make sure I understand. So what is the ask of us?
I am asking for any type of help that I can get with the person who owns this property to help, because city citations, there's been city citation to get this property taken for the city of Houston. City of Houston have done nothing for this property, and so we want to take the property. We clean up around the community, but it's not nothing being done.
Yeah, we're not in the business of taking people's property. We certainly, if the property is not being properly attended to,
it's not.
I mean, we can take steps to encourage, make sure that he's operating within our guidelines. Let's put it that way, in terms of cleaning up the property. But in the end, what he decides to sell it for is pretty much up to him. So we can't go in and take his property. Let's put it that way.
And I'm not asking for to take his property. We just want to help get the property, because from prostitution, kids getting shot over there.
No, I understand the area.
I mean, it's bad.
The area needs to be revitalized. I agree with you on that. There's no question about that. Hold on one second, Councilmember Christie.
First of all, I appreciate your service in the U.S. Navy. It's proud of that. Second of all, was he initially willing to sell it for $350, and could y'all work that into your budget?
Yes, sir.
I agree with the mayor that we can't force anybody to do anything, but ask some of us to write a letter just asking for someone to sell it at a reasonable price, or at a price that helps. There's so much good that can come out of that land. I'd be more than willing to write a letter and just ask, and maybe there's a tax way that he could get the property valued at $500,000 and write off $150,000. There's so much good that can be done. But there's some of us that'd be willing to write a letter encouraging him to help the city do good.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Make sure you give Renee all of your contact information, and because I'd like to follow up with you.
And thank y'all again, because it was last minute. Thank y'all.
No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you, though.
Okay, that completes the public session.
Okay, we stand in recess until tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Tell me what time it is.
It is 4:48.
Okay, thank you.
Customer service and public works.
That concludes the public session of the Houston City Council. You can see the City Council replay of the public session Thursday at 7 p.m. and the replay of the City Council agenda session on Friday at 7 p.m. The complete replay of the Houston City Council can be seen in its entirety on Saturday at 6 p.m.
Similar improvements into Chapter 9 so the Office of the City Engineer can do a better job at reviewing and permitting those projects. So that change was made.